It's February the 23rd and it's the last Friday of the month, and it's Facebook Live time. So 7 o'clock. I hope you're all looking forward to another great weekend, and looking forward to what we've got to say tonight. It's been a busy month, as always. The emails continually keep coming in. 3,821 my office has dealt with this month, plus obviously everything else that comes in through many different means. So yeah, always busy, and they're always working extremely hard. I have two people in Doncaster who work full time, and I have one person who works full time in London, and then I have two people that work part time, and then I have another sort of person that works across both, and he's full time as well. So I've got a lot of staff, and they're all helping me help you and help to get the message over to you as well, so you know what your member of parliament is doing. And I hope you find everything that we do on Facebook and social media helpful into understanding the life of this MP and all the different ways that I can help you with. So, but I do enjoy doing Facebook Live. It's good fun to do, and we get lots of different comments in, which not all are fantastic, but that's the way it is. But I do get an awful lot of support from most people. So I do thank you, and I'll continue doing it as long as you want me to do it. So let's hope that's a long time. Busy week in Parliament this week, and obviously there were lots of things happened on Wednesday night. If you'd like to have a real rundown on that, maybe let me know. Maybe I could do something on it. It's quite unprecedented what actually happened on Wednesday night, and quite worrying really in some ways as well. I'm sure it's going to unfold over the next few weeks, and I will obviously let my opinions be heard as and when I believe is the right time. I think there were a lot of people didn't do exactly what they should do, and a lot of people putting pressure on where they probably shouldn't. But I'm sure lots of my colleagues will be willing to inform news channels, and have done, over what's happened. But it wasn't a good look, that's for certain, and we need to make sure these things don't happen again. Parliament has got to be sovereign. Members of Parliament have got to be looked after. We've got to be able to say what we believe needs to be said, and we should have that. We should have the ability to do it without looking over our shoulder, and I think that's really, really important. So anyway, as I say, if you want to know any more on that, maybe put it in the comments, maybe put it in an email. Maybe I could do a little Facebook Live just on that. But as I say, it's covered a lot of the news, so I'm not going to dwell on that tonight. The airport's obviously been a huge feature this week. There were some people at the beginning and the end of last week, beginning of this week, said things which I thought were slightly unfair, and so I thought it's best to spell out why I believe we ended up with a closed airport. And as I've said from the beginning, and I'll keep on saying it, it's because the council never supported our airport with the initial £20 million that the airport required, with taking on Wizz Airlines. And it never happened, it never materialised. Our mayor never shouted up for it at the board meetings that she should have done, and I've put all the minutes out there this week and different bits and pieces. So it's been quite a week getting that out there. However, I do think I've managed to bring it to a close today with the last airport post that I put on, and I've seen we've got lots of questions, so I am going to try and answer them. It's really important, obviously, that the general public know what's happened, why it's happened, and where we go from here. One thing is for certain is that everybody wants that airport open. Everybody I speak to wants that airport open, but it is going to cost us a lot more money than it would have the initial £20 million which is quite sad for the taxpayer, really. But unfortunately, this is what happens. I'm afraid this is what happens when you've got Labour in charge. And much of the shenanigans that happened last week in Parliament, same again. Party politics from Labour, I'm afraid, and it's costing us. It is costing us. We've got a general election coming up, and I know things have been difficult since I was elected, but we cannot afford to let them get out of power. It would be quite disastrous for the nation, I'm afraid. Anyway, there's comments coming in, but there's also some questions on here, and I like to answer. My team put a list together of the main questions that have come through. Sometimes you might not get yours answered, but you can try and put them in on here. But Lynn, I'm concerned where the £20 million is. Obviously, this is a reference to the airport. In fact, I think most of them are reference to the airport tonight. Concerned where the £20 million is. Is it still ours with DMBC or with SYMCA? The £20 million would have been a loan from the South Yorkshire Mayoral Combined Authority. And it never materialised. So that £20 million is still sat there. That £20 million would have been part of the gain share money that I've continually talked about. When we become a combined authority, we got given £30 million for 30 years, which is £900 million, but we could pull down on that in lump sums if we wanted to, because it was sort of a loan. So it was there, but if we wanted 500 million, we could have 500 million. Now, it was split 60-40. 60% was meant to be on sort of capital expenses, like buying an airport, and the other 40% would be sort of revenue, running whatever, the actual running costs of whatever was needed. So, and other running costs as well, maybe it's any kind of different thing. So that's what it was there for. So the money's always been sat there. That 20 million was part of that, and it is still sat there as part of that. There was another pot of money called CRSTS money. That was 576 million. First one, City Region Sustainable Transport Fund. And we had a chunk of that ready to go towards the rail link for the airport. But that's the combined authority is Doncaster, Barnsley, Rotherham and Sheffield. And so that 576 million to me should be divvied up between the four authorities. And same as the game share money, that should be divvied up between all the four authorities. Now, it's not going to be 25% each, because obviously we've got bigger populations in area, but I believe Doncaster's population is 22% of the entire area. So if the government gave South Yorkshire Mayoral Combined Authority £100 million, you'd expect Doncaster to get 22 million, which is what we should get. What happened with the CRSTS fund, which was 576 million, is that 100 million of that was top sliced off to put towards Oliver's trams. I call them Oliver's trams because I think there's only Oliver that really wants them. So, and then the 476 million then was to be divvied up against all the other. Now, I wasn't happy about that, and I shouted about that at the time. But what's good for the gander is good for the goose, and I think the airport benefits all the combined authorities. So if it's going to cost 100 million to open the airport and we've got 900 million pound in gain share, then I think we should take top slice the 100 million pound off of the 900 million and then divvy up the rest, because obviously it's not just Doncaster that benefits from the airport, it's the entire area. So that's what I'm going to try and do. I keep pressing with that. There's a figure come out from Oliver of 138 million. And I think that's because he's already top sliced some money off, and 138 million, as far as he's concerned and our mayor's concerned, is Doncaster's allocation of the 900 million pound. I don't think that's right. I don't think 138 million is anywhere near enough. So we need to bottom that out. The other thing is as well is that if we spend the 138 million on the airport, we won't be able to spend anything on anything else. And there's lots of places where we need to spend that money. So as I say, the airport should be top sliced out of the gain share money because it benefits all four authorities, and then we should divvy up the money. And it's a bit painful, I understand that, because if we'd have loaded the £20 million 2 years ago, then we wouldn't be in this situation. and now it's probably going to cost, well, whatever it costs. So yeah, disappointing, but we are where we are, as I say, and we'll have to try and move on. Most important thing is that we get our airport open. So Lynn, it's still there, it's not lost, we just need to make sure that we can draw down on it. Paul, wasn't it to the Conservative Party manifesto that said they was going to set standards for climate change? Boris Johnson set the 2030 target. It's actually a 2050 target net zero. Now, I know there's different stages for different things, but Doncaster Council decided to go for 2040 because they wanted to take 10 years off it. And I think they've even pushed certain things to 2030, which is why the airport didn't fit with their climate emergency, as they call it. So, yeah, we put a target in of 2050. Rishi pushed back a bit on the internal combustion engines, which is basically normal cars. He pushed back on that. He pushed it back to about 2035 to give us all a little bit more time. And I know there's some people out there who don't believe in 2050 at all, net zero. And I know there's some who would prefer it to be 2030. But I do believe in it. I do think we should look after our planet. I just don't think we should cripple our economy. I don't think we should close airports down. And I don't think we should spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of pounds on a tram that no one's going to use just to say that we've got green credentials. I think it's poor. I think it's damaging our economy, damaging our country. Now, should we not invest in green industries? Of course we should. That's great. We should invest in ones that have got a good track record, not Lontra. So that was one locally where the Combined Authority invested £7 million in that, and it's just gone bust. So that's £7 million of your hard-earned money that's just gone bust. Disgraceful, absolutely disgraceful. So I'm a believer in net zero, but we've got to invest it in the right thing. We've got to do it what's best for this country, and we've got to make sure India and China and America are all doing their bit too, because we're 1.1% of the problem, I believe, and they're probably, I think China's 26% of the problem. So I think they just stop oil activists ought to go and lobby China, don't you? I think they ought to go and lobby India. I think they ought to go and lobby America before they start making our lives miserable here. So that's where we are with that. So Paul, I hope that answers your question. Stella, just watched the debate in Parliament about the airport. Was it not Dan Jarvis that stood up and said he'd been asked for the 20 million by Peel? So it's not just the 2 mayors, it's the 3 mayors. Yeah, there was a crossover point there, and I think that there was no 2 ways around it. All that happened around Dan Jarvis stepping down and Oliver Coppard being elected. It was a difficult time, but no excuses. Still could have happened, still should have happened, and it didn't happen. But as I say, we are where we are. But at least what seems to have happened, because of all your help and the petition and everything that's happened, we've got them back in an airport, and it's great. And let's hope it happens. Ben Ouchen's doing a fantastic job. I mean, there's been an awful lot of negatives about Ben, but I've met Ben, and he seems an absolutely fantastic bloke. Came to speak to our association, and he's tearing up a cycle path today, or he's putting in for it. Why? Because the businesses are being affected because of the cycle path, and Ben understands it's businesses that pay taxes that pay for everything. So yeah, that was a good post he put out today. Let's have cycle lanes where we need them. Let's not have cycle lanes where they destroy business. That's the key. Unfortunately, we've got them everywhere, and we've got a town centre that's dying, but we still keep putting cycle lanes all the way through the middle of it. Ridiculous, if you ask me. But there you go. It's what happens when you get a Labour council. Steve, can you answer me why are we going to lease from Peel as opposed to a buyout? Wouldn't that mean we want to have total control of the airport? Yeah, I mean, I personally would have gone for a CPO. It's been put on the back burner. I don't see why we should have push for that. I think that would have been the best way forward. I do believe we had to go down looking at every different route. I understand that, but we still could have continued with the CPO. and then if the lease didn't work out, then we could have CPO'd it. There's lots of things got to drop into place now. We've got to make sure that the combined authority accept the final business case, and so that they will give Doncaster Council our money, really, the gain share money, to make sure that we can get the airport into a standard where it's ready to be used. We've obviously got to see what the deal is with any operator as well, because they might be happy to do that work themselves, depending on any lease, I would have thought. And then we've also got to sort the lease out with Peel. We don't know what that looks like. So there's three things there that are all sort of juggling around together. And I think signing a lease without getting the monies from the combined authority, but then spending monies without having an operator, and one thing or another. So there's an awful lot of negotiations got to come together on that. But yeah, I would have been a lot further on with the CPO personally. But there we go. Neil, will those constituents that you have blocked on here, Facebook, be allowed to take part in your question and answer session? Seems undemocratic not to include everyone. I only block people when they troll, which is sending multiple negative messages, silly things, comments that they say, which is just completely unfounded. And when they talk to a member of parliament with complete disrespect, which is what a lot of them do, and if anybody swears, then they get blocked too. And we don't have any chances with it. It's too many people. Oh, let them try once, let them try again, let them try again. No. You swear on my account, you troll me, you're gone. And it's your fault, not mine. You've been warned. So, sorry, Neil. You'll have to share what I've said with them. I'm sure you will. So, please do. But no. And if you swear on my account, then everyone gets blocked. Dennis, do you think if the airport doesn't open, it will be disastrously financial for the city? Yes. We must get it open. Once we've got it open, we must all support it. I don't want anyone saying they want to go there or there or there. I want them to say, well, flying from Doncaster, where can we go? That's what we need to do. We've got to use it or we'll lose it again. But then I want all the industries to come back, the police to come back, all the different people that were working around there. I want them all to come back. And then we want Boeing there, and we want an aviation hub, and we want all kinds of things. And it can really turn Doncaster's fortune around. It'll be fantastic, won't it? That's what we need. That's what we want. Why do our children have to leave this place to find really good quality jobs? Should be here. Can you imagine having Boeing here in Doncaster, or a subsidiary of theirs? 2,500 engineering jobs, quality jobs. That's what we want. We want it here in Doncaster. I'm telling you now, the airport is key to that. Ben Ouchen's making an absolutely fantastic job of it up there. That's what we need here. Paul, one question. Why are they going down the lease route? Well, as I've said, that's between the council and Peel. CPO would have probably been the best way for me, but we are where we are. They won't let me be part of the negotiations. I would have hoped I would have kept it open if I'd have been able to be part of those negotiations, but I'm afraid we shall never know. Right, let's have a look at some of these ones that have come in. Bindi, the airport will be better for our local economy than those park and rides that no one uses. I couldn't agree more. I think they cost millions and millions of pounds to install, and every time I go I see about 5 cars there. So yeah, they were a fantastic investment, wasn't there? Not really, no. Need to get rid of them. Why don't they put a Costa coffee on them? Why don't they do something like that? Why don't they actually make it somewhere for you to go? Why don't they advertise them? Why don't they do anything? Why do they just sit there? It's just, I just can't get my breath. Realistically, if it all goes to plan, what do you believe the timescale is for the airport reopening? Well, I would imagine there's probably going to be a fair amount of work to get it open again. And I suppose it depends if they want to build the extension, which is what they wanted to do when Wiz came. And then we've got to get operators in. Then obviously there's a certain amount of infrastructure that got taken out because the council didn't do the groundworks on protecting that. I forgot what article it was now, but that came a week after I think Peel pulled everything out. So I would imagine it's probably going to be a year. Be nice to think it was sooner, but I don't know. But let's hope if there's a lease signed, we're going to get it open as soon as possible. Otherwise, the operator or the council are going to be paying for a lease that with no money's coming in. So that's really important. What green industries are viable? Well, I think the whole idea of the Boeing coming to Doncaster was that's an aviation, obviously aviation company. The Advanced Manufacturing Research Centre, they just got a grant off of they got a grant off a local off the government to build a new site there to do some research work into new aviation products. Obviously, there's a huge sustainable aviation market out there, so we need to be working on sustainable aviation fuel. So maybe there's people can be working on that. I know there's people working on hydrogen. There's all kinds of industries around there. Obviously, the wind turbines are being built everywhere, so why can't we build them here too? And then obviously we've got a logistics part of it, which is not really sustainable, but if it all helps, it all feeds into the pot to keep our airport open, to make it this hub that we want it to be. What about having a college down there? What about it? Why haven't we got a college down there? Why haven't we got a university? Why aren't we a university town? So many things. We just need to have that. We just need to have that aspiration that we can be the place that we want us to be. Let's have a look. What else have we got on here? It seems to me there's only you fighting for our airport. Well, that's kind of it. I'm sure there's lots of other people helping me too, though. Well, I know there is. Michael, the South Yorkshire Mayoral Combine is committed to achieving a net zero economy by 2024. The MCA Business and Recovery Board has appealed for the following. I think I've already covered this, Michael, but what we've got is we're in a South Yorkshire state. I call it the socialist state of South Yorkshire, where everybody's Labour, everyone's got a socialist attitude, and people say, why is South Yorkshire not doing as well as what it should? That's why. We need a Conservative mayor in Doncaster, we need a Conservative mayor at the Combined Authority, and we need some more Conservative members of Parliament. We've got a fantastic member of Parliament in Alex Stafford. You've got a fantastic member of Parliament in Miriam Case. I hope you think that I'm doing okay. That's 3 out of the 14. We've got to get people away from ticking that box just because it says Labour, because they've always done it. Unfortunately, while ever we are led by socialist mayors, we are always going to struggle. It's as simple as that. And they've all got this net zero built into them now, and they want to try and beat everybody else. And I'm sure it's a competition between half of these mayors who can be the greenest mayor, while they're flying about all over the world telling us not to fly. It's wrong, it's out of order, it shouldn't be happening, but there's only you can change it. It's only you can change it. You've got to put that cross in that Conservative box in May, when we've got a mayoral combined authority elections, and then whenever we've got the general election, which is coming this year. So important. What else have we got? Let's have a look. We don't live in Doncaster but need the airport reopened. All the staff there was second to none. Give them their jobs back. Couldn't agree more with you, Ros. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Is most of the stuff in the airport, is it leased? Is this being looked at? Not sure. Good question. We'll have a look at it. Very interesting to hear about your explanation with the ongoing of the airport reopen. Fingers crossed and keep up the great work. There you go. I think that's a fantastic end to what has been a difficult week. I don't like putting negative posts out all the time regarding what's happened, but unfortunately the truth needs to be out there, and so I've done it. I've been asked to go on Radio Sheffield and speak with Oliver directly in a studio, and I've said that I will. It's not happening so far, but I'm quite happy to do that. But let's face it, we are definitely in a position where things are moving on. I just want people to realise something, because I'm not sure that you really know. There's the elected officers, which is the mayor and the councillors, which are predominantly Labour. And then there's all the actual people, the good people that work in the council offices. So when I'm having a go at the council for not doing the job properly, it's the elected people that I'm talking about. It's your mayor and her cabinet that I'm talking about. There is some really, really good people, hard-working people, who are doing everything they can. And I want those people to know that I do not blame them. But I do blame the elected leaders. They've led this town a merry dance for too long, and it needs to stop. And as I say, the way to do it is vote them out. But please, please, when you see the council workers out there, and they are working hard, and when we eventually, hopefully, get this airport open, there'll be an awful lot of really good people who want a big thank you. And I will make sure that I give them it, because they really, really deserve it. Working under poor leadership is always extremely difficult to do, and I think they're doing a very difficult job. But I want them to know that their MP thinks they're doing great. Keep up the great work. Keep working hard. Doncaster needs you. Doncaster needs you. And so just carry on doing what you're doing, because we all want that airport open, and I will make sure that you'll get thanked properly. Okay. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a lovely weekend. I'll be out and about again tomorrow. I've been out all day today. Lots of different people I've seen today. Follow my Facebook page. Please press follow. Please press like. Share it. Let's get this message out there that Doncaster has got a great future. We just need those great leaders to step up, and hopefully one day we'll have a blue leader in Doncaster. Wouldn't that be something? Have a great time, folks, and I will hopefully see you next month. Bye bye.